I got this snare drum about 7 or so years ago, and I got sent it along with a 14 by 7 version of the same drum, but that actually belonged to someone. But I do remember I asked if I could actually buy both of them. That's how I found out it already had sort of been sold. And that was in the days when I had cash in my account, and so I could sort of, you know, randomly buy snare drums whenever I wanted and not worry about it quite so much in terms of my bank balance going down or my credit card bill going up. But I did manage to get, I got this drum, which is this one, and as obviously as you've seen, it's the Highwood Hallmark 14 by 4. And I also have previously done, several years ago, I did the 14 by 6.5 inch drum, which is the only one that they did in that size. Highwood did in that size, and it is also the only one that's not in this sort of aluminium sort of silvery colour. And Gareth, thanks mate again, was very kind enough to sell me that other drum, and I do recall actually I did the video on it and I never did a sound file, I think because I did it originally and it didn't come out very well. So I will try and do a sound file for the other drum as well on the back of this one. But this is the 14 by 4, as I said, 14 by 4 inch version. It has oh god, it has, like the other one, that's a solid inch of aluminium there, and it's a very heavy drum. There's nothing about this drum which is light. I would go as far as to say there is nothing about this drum that is subtle either. But that's a good thing. I mean, I tend to use these two drums as my outdoor drums, or a drum if I need a drum that is loud and I know that, you know, I'm going to be playing in a maybe in a big marquee or outside or something, then these generally are the two drums that I default to. And whilst arguably the other one might be slightly louder because there's more shell to it, this has got probably more of a crack to it. So, you know, it's horses for courses on that one, but they're both tremendously loud drums. Not to say that they're not sensitive. I mean, it's me tapping my finger, there's plenty of sensitivity there. You know, there are only, I think it was 13 of these drums made in varying sizes. They were all whole inch sizes, except for the other one, as I said, which is 14 by 6.5. But as I said, there's nothing really about this drum that's sort of subtle. Arguably, that's possibly was the point of it. I don't know, but these. It's been I don't think I've ever changed the head on this drum. I've changed the head on the other one. I know that I've changed the head on the other one. These hoops are both thick and heavy. That's a good combination. And you've got a fairly sort of unique, sort of cool lug design there too. You've got my favourite strainer upside down there, the Trick GS007. I like the way that badge comes out on there. I do like that. I'll just catch the light. There you go. Hopefully you can see that. So I like the way that came out on there. It's subtle. It's subtle and understated, and I like that. It's you know, a very well worn. It's actually a power coated reverse dot on the batter side, and just it's a glass 500. On the bottom, which I'm not very well up on Evans snare heads, so I'm going to guess that's probably a thicker one, isn't it? So this has actually got very sharp bearing edges, which you'll see a bit later. But these are very sharp edges. They come up the wall of the shell, and there's a sort of quite an obvious cut down as well. So. It's an interesting shell design. Again, on quite a few levels actually. It's just I'm going to put it down because it really does. This probably weighs about as much as my 14 6.5 Edge. And if you've ever picked up an Edge drum, you know how heavy they are. In fact, my 14 6.5 version of this is actually very slightly heavier than my 14x7 Edge. So yes, they're very heavy drums. And the other thing about this is the snare bed. Now the snare bed's actually sort of from there to there. It's not a particularly wide snare bed. I suppose it's fairly average, but the thing that, because the shell is so thick, unlike most snare beds, which sometimes you will even struggle to see them. I don't know if you can really see that there, but you can very definitely see that. There's no mistaking that. And again, it's just one of those things that kind of just sort of sticks out a little bit in, you know, just in terms of the design and stuff. So again, I like that. It's very, yeah, it's very metal in that respect. It's very metal. So but yeah, I like that. I don't know what brand of wires there are, but they're 20s anyway. And like I said, there's not a lot to this drum. It just basically does. I think on volume wise, you could probably say it's you know, it's the go to 11 drum, or they both are really. They both go to 11. And whilst I'm probably not going to whack the crap out of it, just for the purposes of doing a demo, I don't think really. I can't remember if I've ever tried to tune this down very low. I'll give it a go in a minute, but all in all, as you said, it's a solid drum. Basically, it's a very solid drum. They both are. They're both. You know that you are playing them. They give you a lot back in terms of how they feel to play, and unlike some of the snare drums in here, there is nothing weedy. As I said, there's nothing weedy about it. You know you are playing this drum, and I would guess. I mean, these hoops, they're very reminiscent to me actually of the sort of Tama Bell brass hoops. That's kind of what they remind me of. But this is the type of drum that you are going to be rim shotting all of the time. You aren't going to be hitting just dead in the centre just for that nice crispy sound. You're going to hit it. You're going to hit it with probably, should hit it with bigger sticks than the little girly things that I normally use. But you know, all in all, as I said, it's a cracking drum on more than one level. And yes, so that's that. Highwood Hallmark 14x4. And Gareth, cheers again, mate. I'm still using it. I used it the other week, as I think you may have seen, because I put it on the Facebook page. Yes, thank you very much. This is what it looks like up close. This is what it sounds like. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.